Welcome back to my kitchen. It's Sunday. I'm getting ready to do my meal prep for the week, and I'm super excited about the recipes I'm making this week. They're gonna be veggie packed and protein packed, things that I always try to pay attention to. These recipes are gonna be so great for meal prep, but I honestly think they would also be great for a dinner party or dinner for your family. Putting together a dinner party menu is honestly not that different from putting together a meal prep menu. You wanna do things that can be made simultaneously. You wanna use ingredients that can be used multiple times, and those are things that I try to do in all of my recipes. You'll see what I mean when we get to cooking. Okay, let me tell you about the 3 recipes we're gonna be making today. For breakfast, I'm gonna start with carrot cake baked oats. This is really nice for spring. It kind of has an Easter vibe to it. I love baked oats. As a vegetarian breakfast option, it's really nice because we're still gonna have a lot of protein, and we're gonna make a honey cinnamon yogurt sauce to go with it. You don't wanna skip that. For one of my lunch options, I'm gonna be doing a garlic and herb Orzo pasta salad. I love using Orzo. I'm using brown rice Orzo for mine, and it's gonna be packed with a ton of veggies, and you don't really need to do a lot of cooking to make this one. This is another vegetarian option, but if you wanted to add meat, you could. You could add some shredded rotisserie chicken, or you could add some additional beans if you still wanna go the vegetarian route, but I think lots of different proteins would be delicious on this, even salmon or shrimp. And then lastly, for another lunch option, we're gonna be making Greek meatball bowls. I'm super excited about these. We're using ground chicken to make them chicken meatballs. It's gonna have feta and oregano and lemon right in that mix. So we're gonna put veggies right on the tray so everything can be made at once. I'm gonna walk through all of these recipes with you today, but if you want the detailed instructions, all of that can be found on my Substack. So head there to get the detailed recipes. We've got a lot of different moving parts going on, so let's get into it. I just put on my Orzo. If you did want to do Orzo, you can just do pasta, or even quinoa would work for this. It's gonna be a very adaptable recipe. So I have that on, and I'm gonna get started on grating my carrots. I want 2 cups of grated carrots for my carrot cake baked oats. So that's about 6 carrots. We're getting a ton of carrots in here. It's kind of like a hidden veggie meal. Grating carrots is the hardest part. That's what requires the most work in this recipe, and now it's very simple. It's kind of like making a cake or making muffins. We're gonna start with our dry ingredients in the mixing bowl. So first, I'm doing gluten-free rolled oats, or you could do quick oats if you want to. Next, almond flour. Almond flour has that added protein in there, so I really like it. And it's a gluten-free option, and I just find the texture to be really nice for something like baked oats. And then I'm doing ground flax. Again, we're gonna get a little bit of protein from here, and I think it makes the texture a little bit better. Coconut sugar. If you don't wanna use coconut sugar, or you don't cook with coconut sugar a lot, you can use light brown sugar, very similar taste. And then I have a spice mix here with cinnamon, we have nutmeg in here, ginger, salt, and I have baking soda. So you just wanna mix all of this together until it's a uniform mixture. It smells really good. Okay, we've got our dry mix, and now we're gonna add in those shredded carrots. I do think grating it yourself makes a little bit of a difference. You're gonna get the tinier pieces, and when you buy shredded carrots, they're a little bigger, so it's not as ideal for cutting into and making them seamlessly blend into the mix. So that's my tip there. And then the rest of the wet ingredients are 2 beaten eggs, some milk. I'm doing oat milk for my milk. You can really use any kind of milk you like. You could use almond, regular milk. You can do really whatever you want, just a little bit of liquid. And then for more sweetness, in addition to the coconut sugar, we're doing maple syrup. This is also gonna help things stick together. And then we're gonna be doing vanilla extract. We're just gonna give this all a mix until it's fully incorporated. It smells so good. And just keep mixing until you don't see any dry pieces of flour or oat left. It is a thick batter, so don't be concerned if it is very thick like this. This is the texture we're looking for. And with all of this mixed, the last component is gonna be chopped walnuts. I have some whole walnuts that I'm just gonna chop up into smaller pieces, and that's gonna give that same texture that we're looking for when you bite into carrot cake. So just chopping these up into a little bit smaller pieces. If you wanna leave out the nuts, go for it, but I do think it adds something, and it's also adding protein, which is important for starting off your day. Okay, I'm just gonna fold in these chopped walnuts. Just get them evenly mixed and incorporated in here. A lot of different tastes and textures going on. I have my oven preheating to 350. It's heated now. I'm gonna grab my pan that I have a sheet of parchment paper lining just to make it a little easier to get them out. I'm gonna pour this in, and it's time to bake. This is a 9x9 baking dish, and I like this size for the amount of servings we're making and for it to cook evenly. So that's my recommendation. Just spread it out evenly to all 4 corners. I'm gonna get even baking all around. Can't get over how fragrant the spices are in here. It smells amazing. I kind of thought of this for an Easter brunch. I think it would be perfect for that if you do brunch for your Easter celebrations. It's also just a great breakfast to make for literally anything. This is gonna go into the oven, and then we're gonna get started on the next recipe. While the oats are baking, I'm gonna do all of my veggie prep for the rest of the recipes. I just wanna get it all done at once. I know veggie chopping can kind of be the worst part, and I agree with you. Doing it all at once can help you feel a little more efficient in the kitchen. It saves you time, and then we're not gonna have to chop anything else for the rest of the prep. For the Greek meatball bowls, I'm using red bell pepper. I'm also gonna cut a red onion into thin slices. I like both of these because they're a little bit sweet. They're gonna give some color to the sheet pan. And I also have some Yukon Gold potatoes that I'm gonna add to the sheet pan, but make it your own, you can't go wrong. For the orzo salad, I'm just gonna roughly chop the spinach, and then I'm gonna cut our basil into tiny pieces. Instead of spinach for the greens, you could use Swiss chard or kale, arugula. You could do mint or dill or parsley. If you have an herb in the fridge that is going bad, throw it in. But I really like basil and spinach in the salad, so that's why I chose them. Okay, my baked oats are ready. I'm gonna pull them out of the oven. They smell amazing. So excited about these. I need to let them cool. I don't wanna get ahead of myself, so I'm just gonna set these aside while we continue on with our prep. Okay, just turned my oven up to 400 degrees, and then now it's time to make the sheet pan. We're starting with the veggies. We're gonna do veggies first, let them roast, get a little crisp, and then we're adding in the meatballs, and it works nicely because we're gonna be able to prep the meatballs while the veggies are roasting, be super efficient. Again, that's like the whole theme of this entire prep. So let's do that now, and we're just adding everything to the mixing bowl. So we have our Yukon Gold potatoes, we have our red onion that I sliced thinly, red bell peppers, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I have a spice mix of smoked paprika, oregano, garlic powder, black pepper, and salt. I love these spices together, especially the smoked paprika. It's my favorite spice. I feel like it really adds a ton of flavor, especially for roasted veggies. So these are just gonna be delicious. We want them to get nice and tender on the sheet pan before we add the meat so that we're not overcooking it. These are all veggies that I like for meal prep too. I feel like they don't get soggy or weird when I put them in the container and then reheat them. The best way to reheat them is if you can transfer everything back to a sheet pan or into an air fryer. But if you can't, if you're bringing it for like a work lunch, no worries, it's still gonna be delish. So now this is all mixed. We're gonna transfer to the sheet pan and just spread out into one single layer, so hopefully nothing's overlapping. This is gonna go into the oven for 15 minutes, and then we're gonna prep our meatballs while it's roasting. Okay, chicken meatballs. These are gonna be very simple because we're using the same mixing bowl I just used to mix the veggies, same spices, and it just makes everything so easy. I'm trying to minimize dishes because who wants to do a million different dishes after you've done a whole meal prep? And we're using similar spices in the next recipe too. We're just simplifying the whole thing. In the meatballs, we're gonna have a pound of ground chicken. You could also use ground turkey if you wanted to. Ground lamb, I think, would be delicious here. I love a lamb meatball. You could do ground beef, but I think chicken's gonna be really delish here. And then I'm gonna do some crumbled feta. I'm going in with some chopped parsley. And then our seasonings, we've got similar ones, like I said, smoked paprika, oregano, and kosher salt in here. Just to up-level the flavor even more, we're doing lemon zest and some grated garlic. 2 of my absolute favorite ingredients, especially in a meatball. Okay, let's just mix this up until all the spices, the feta, the herbs are just fully incorporated so that we can get all that flavor into every meatball. Okay, my veggies are done, so let me grab those. And they smell so good. Everything I've made so far has been smelling amazing, which is always a good sign. Now that our veggies have gotten a little bit soft, we're gonna roll our meatballs, and then we're gonna put them right on the pan so we can finish off. I'm just gonna take my rings off before I'm going in on the raw meat. We're gonna make about 20 evenly sized meatballs, and I'm just kind of nestling them in. We're gonna roll them, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The key is just getting them all evenly sized because you want them to all cook at the same time, but this happens very quickly because we're doing small meatballs, like no bigger than 2 tablespoons. I use a cookie scoop. If you don't have one, you can also just use like a spoon. The scoop just makes everything so easy. This is one of my favorite kitchen items that I have. To roll these out nice and smooth all over, I'm just oiling my hands a little bit, and then I'm gonna roll them into smooth balls. This is not totally necessary, but it makes them nice and even. I'm just gonna nestle them in to try to not go on top of the veggies, but if it does, it's okay. I'm just gonna try to fit them in since we have the space. Making meatballs on a sheet pan is my favorite way to make them. It's just easier. It's easier to clean up. You can do everything on one pan like we're doing today. And I just think they come out tasting really nice. It's quick. It's like less than 15 minutes in the oven. I have a lot of different recipes for meatballs on a sheet pan, and that's why I just love it. It's so easy. If you're somebody that doesn't like putting raw meat on the sheet pan with your other components, I totally get it. It's safe to do so, but if you don't want to do so, you can do this on 2 sheet pans. That's totally fine. So make it work for whatever you prefer. These are gonna go back into the oven just until the meatballs are fully cooked and the veggies are nice and soft, a little crispier than they are now. And we're on to the next recipe. While the meatballs are cooking, I'm getting started on the dressing for the garlic and herb orzo pasta salad. We're gonna start with a little bit of olive oil, and then for some brightness and acidity, we're gonna do lemon juice. I'm gonna do the juice of a whole lemon. The lemons are juicy, and they're getting everywhere. Then I'm doing the zest of about 1 lemon and few cloves of minced garlic. I have a spice mix here of salt, black pepper, dried oregano, and red pepper flakes. A little tip for when you're adding oregano, it helps to get the oils out if you rub it a little bit between your fingers to get those flavors to really pop. So now that we've got all of our ingredients in there, we're gonna shake this up. You could use a blender or a food processor to do this, but I'm just gonna shake it for about 30 seconds. And then you have your very simple garlic and herb dressing. Okay, meatballs are done. Smelling so good, and the feta is really doing a lot for me. The little specks of green parsley look amazing. These are gonna be so good. Okay, salad components. So this one is gonna come together very quickly, and we've already got everything ready. I rinsed my chickpeas, and I just rinsed them in a fine mesh strainer under some water until all those bubbles are gone. So now I'm just adding these rinsed chickpeas into the bowl. And then we've got our cooked orzo. Just a little tip to make the orzo hold up while you're prepping the rest of your ingredients is I just drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil and it won't stick together. And then all of that spinach that I cut up earlier, we're gonna add this in for some greens, make it a true like salad, pasta salad. Our peas, seasonal spring produce, artichokes. I bought these pre-quartered. If you get whole, you can just quarter them yourself before you add them in. That adds a really nice texture to the pasta salad. Even more green we got going on. We're doing some chopped basil that I chopped up earlier. And then for some salty creaminess, I'm doing the rest of my feta. Lots of feta being used today. I'm not mad about it. And then the last thing to add is our garlic and herb dressing. I'm just gonna give this another shake to bring it back to life a little bit. And we're just gonna drizzle this all over the pasta salad. Give everything a good mix, incorporate the dressing, the veggies, the orzo. This one is just gonna get better as it sits in the fridge. It's great for hosting, dinner parties, even like a brunch, honestly, an Easter brunch. I think this would be great. I just love it. I love this combo of garlic, herb, lemon, and all of our green veg. If you wanna go even harder on the green veggies, you could do some zucchini chopped up. You don't even need to cook it, asparagus. Swap things out that you don't like. If you don't like chickpeas, you can do white beans. You could do rotisserie chicken to get that protein in. Another like clean out the fridge type meal that we're making. Okay, this smells so good. I feel like I need to try a taste before I package it up. I'm just gonna eat it right out of the bowl because this is mine. So good, oh my gosh. The lemon you can taste so much, all those spices, the oregano, it really made a difference. So excited to have this for meal prep and already excited to make it again. Okay, all of our recipes are done. Let's just get these packaged up and be all done with our meal prep for today. I'm gonna start with the chicken meatball bowls. I think these bowls are gonna be so delicious, and you could pair it with a green if you wanted to. I'm also gonna be pairing it with a savory yogurt sauce. It has lemon and Greek yogurt, parsley, and salt and pepper. Super simple, but adds even more protein to the dish. So if you wanna see how to make that, I have a separate video. If this one isn't your vibe too, I have a ton of sheet pan meatball recipes. You can check those all out on my site or my Substack. And you're gonna get like 4 or 5 meatballs per container if you made 20. Get your meatball math correct. Okay, and our salad, I'm just gonna put this one in a big container. Can't get over how strong the garlic and the lemon smells in this. It's so good. And I do think it's gonna get even better. Perfect meal prep for the week. You don't have to reheat it. You could, but you don't have to. So good. Very excited about this one. And then our baked oats, I just need to cut this up. I'm gonna cut it into 6 rectangles. And the parchment makes it very easy to get out, so I highly recommend doing that. And to go with this one, I also made a yogurt sauce, another way to get a little more protein in there. This is a cinnamon honey yogurt sauce. I have another video, like I mentioned, on making both of these, so definitely check that out. But that's gonna pair with it. It's gonna be drizzled on top, almost like a frosting for our baked oats. This is gonna be a delicious breakfast. It's basically gonna be like having dessert for breakfast. Okay, meal prep is done. Just to recap everything that we made today: the carrot cake baked oats, the garlic and herb orzo pasta salad, and the sheet pan Greek chicken meatballs. Recipes for all of that and the 2 yogurt sauces I mentioned are up on Substack now. Link is in the description to get all of that info. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. This was so much fun. My meal prep is done for the week now. And oh my gosh, I can't wait to eat all of this. I'm so excited and I hope you make it. Ugh, I got one in. Ugh.